Hey everyone, it's Jeremy. Welcome back to the Slowest Blitz, where we are playing Asphodel. This is turn 29, I believe. And there's a bunch of interesting stuff that happens in this turn. Not a whole lot of big battles, but a bunch of movement scenarios and overall world situations that are evolving at this current point in time. This music seems a little loud. In a moment. So we want to take a look at everything. We have completed Construction 4. This is on our run up to Construction 5 so that we can try to get Thistle Maces, so that we can try to put up Mother Oak, which is very late at this point, and might... I mean, I wouldn't say it wouldn't be worth it, right? The 10 gems are absolutely worth it for us, and probably necessary for us to transition into a full gem economy. But it's very behind schedule because of all of the other stuff that we have gone for. So make of that as you will, right? We have... It's... Third water! Eee, yikes. Okay. Would have been nice to get that. We have done an arcane probing, found nothing. And at the end of the rainbow, found nothing. Dark knowledge, found nothing. And another arcane probing, found nothing. Oof. So... quick scenario. This is one of the things that I always have trouble in multiplayer games, and I know it's self-induced, right? The reason why I know it's self-induced is because I like to play with gems. Gems, to me, make the game fun. They let you experiment. They let you do a bunch of different stuff. If you have copious amounts of gems, then you can just, dump them into things, try new things, etc., etc. So when I play on single player, regardless of the era that I play in, EA, MA, LA, right? I pretty much always put the sight amount up to as high as you can get it. So I'm used to having a lot of sights, which means when I play a game in the middle age or the late age, I get far fewer gems than I would otherwise be used to. And then there's always the random chance, right, that it averages out in the end. But if you're playing, let's say a fire nation or an air nation, right? And you really want one of those two gem types, you might run into a situation where just by random chance, your particular area of the map doesn't have a lot of those gem types, right? So, again, it averages out. Generally, you're going to find the average amount of gems, all gems across the globe of the map, but it gets into the situation where I'm like, yes, I really want to be doing site searches because I want gems, and there's always the eternal debate over, remote site searching versus manual site searching with your mages, etc., which I'm not going to get into. Do what you want, do what works for you, right? But I do get into the situation where I'm like, yeah, I'm site searching, let's fucking go. And then it's like, oh, right, we're on MA. There's like, what MA is like 55 on the site or sites per province scenarios. So I'm not exactly sure what those calculations mean, but obviously the maximum is 75. So it hurts. It's just rough where you're like, oh no, I'm not actually getting any gems. Anyways, we got nothing, which is unfortunate, and we got a couple of attacks. So let's see what happens. We have attacked Phaeacia in the Banded Hills, and this is just a very small party. A werewolf leading some... wait, he's not leading things. There's a commander back here, right? I don't know. Oh, yeah, there's a Centaur Hierophant over here with some Jade Maidens. We got some Wolves as chaff up front, and we got a little bit of PD here. So this should be fine. The Wolves are going to die. As long as we don't rout on the Wolves, though, these Jade Maidens should do the necessary work. Okay, they did. Got a little scary for a second. So yeah, we lose the chaff of the wolves and the mannequins, but the Jade Maidens come in and do the work that they need to. Pop this PD from Phaeacia, and all is well. We have lost Sylvania, but we didn't really have it. We just pinged it. Or we just popped someone on top of it just to fuck with the fort. And then we are attacked in Simri. So the eternal wolfing back and forth. Just a single PD here, so not going to be able to do anything about it. Wolves conquer again, lose one wolf. We're going to come back to these battles. We'll do all of our battles. We attack in Vaclez, and this is the big southern army, and it faces nothing. It faces nothing. But there's still good news. We'll get to that in a second. So nothing happening there. Just pop that, easy peasy. And then we get to witness some battles between Bandar and Abysia, and then Pythium and Vanarus. So we'll watch the Bandar Abysia. So this is the kind of like big Bandar army, and it's not a massive army, but it is a very threatening stack of tiger riders. We've seen these things in action before. They are very scary, got a pretty intimidating bless, and they are up against nothing. It's just a little bit of PD, but Hubbardton does... Wait, is Hubbardton... No, Hubbardton is not the fort, so this is just a big stack roaming around. We can see there's a bunch of cheat fates coming out here. There's actually quite a few gurus just hanging out, a couple yogis, I believe. Brahmins, sorry, not yogis. Differentiating between the different ages of Bandar. So we've got Tiger Riders, again, Fire Resistance, Blur, Blood Surge, True Sight, Larger Awareness. Big kitties! Hit hard! Hit frequently! So yeah, pretty scary. 6 attacks per square. Very high HP values. Pretty good defense on the riders themselves. Not great on the tigers themselves. But they've got blur. They've got, pretty decent protection. Not great. Very high HP though. So these guys are pretty killy. And they do have fire resistance, right? So not a bad matchup against Abysia. So that's pretty interesting. Just lose a barbarian there. And then we get to see a battle on Pythium. So this is actually the fort crack for Pythium, right? And Pythium does not have much left. Unfortunately, we got to see the big battle where Pythium came out with all, like, 200 fucking gladiators, right? And that was pretty cool. But there was another battle where apparently Pythium moved off of their capital after that battle, and they got stomped. And so this is the resulting army coming in from Vanarus after the fact. So we've got the Gate Guard, which I love this in Dominion 6. I love that in Dom 5, you just had the wall people, right? You had no set Gate Guard, which always seemed silly to me that there were only ranged units defending the fucking walls of your cities, but now there is actually a Gate Guard, and I love it, and it's fantastic. Very, very cool. Very, very happy about that. I do wish that you could, like, these guys just go, don't they? No, they hold. Okay, that's cool. Wait. Interesting. Anyways, love them very much. We've got a small amount of Thurges in the back, a Communicant in the back, some Rotariis in the back. Got a bunch of Barbarians just out front, kind of like just taking the initial hits. We've got a mixture of Vanarusian archers and regular archers. We've got a whole bunch of Oathbound all over the place. Those guys are pretty great. We've got some Vanarusian Berserkers hanging out. And then I think mixed in... Where are my babies? Yeah. Okay, so they're just mixed in. So how do you tell the difference? We've got Vanarusian Berserkers, and we've got Vanarusian Berserkers, and then we've got Chewed Herdmen. What is the graphical difference between you guys? They look pretty damn similar. I guess the Chuds have their sword raised, whereas the Vanarusian Berserkers do not. So the Chewed Herdmen are just slightly better versions. I say slightly better versions. They're quite better versions. They have significantly higher protection. But the Berserkers work in a pinch. They still have high damage attacks. They still have Berserking, right? The Herdmen are just better. So a whole bunch of Oathbound all over the place. Mixture of Herdmen and Berserkers, and then we've got some Skin Shifters in the back. These guys are always cool. And you can see, this is fun. Fun, decently early tech. We've just got a bunch of Gift of Flights coming up, right? So Gift of Flight is just going to give a couple of these squares some flying, which is really nice. I don't think it would matter. There's not enough here for it to be an issue. But very cool nonetheless. Power the Spheres coming up. And we got that drop in the back, right? We've also got some Thunder Strikes coming out from the Vanarusian side of things, which is cool. All of these mages are going to get murdered. Oh, no, it's the Thunder Strikes are coming out from the Thurges. Oh. Okay, so this is actually, this matters, right? If he didn't have this little flying stack, he would win, almost guaranteed. But if these Thurges were able to sit there and shoot Thunder Strikes into this mass, he might take a lot more damage. Again, probably still win, just because of the size of forces here. But those Thurges all get murdered. I say that, but these Triarii actually hold the gate for a fair amount of time, so those Thurges might have been able to do enough damage to rout this army. Not enough to get Pythium back in the game, but a nice parting blow. So, an altogether fun little like late early game battle, right? We're right on the cusp where it's turn 29 is right on the cusp where you're transitioning out of late game into mid game, right? Depending on amount of research speed and the state of the game as a whole. So this is a very interesting kind of like little battle. You get to see a couple of little options. And obviously, right, this is just a situation where Pythium is just way outnumbered. If Pythium had a couple more Thurges, enough forces to have bodyguards to have defended against the flying, then, not even like matching 300, but just going up to like 150, right? Like 3 more Thurges, and maybe like enough people to have bodyguards and enough people to have a little bit more of a front line, right? Then this could have been a completely different battle, right? Like Thunderstrike is no joke. No, Vanarus has cold resistance natively. Did the Oathbound does he have like a resistance plus? Are we even getting a bless? Oh, I don't think we're even getting a bless. Yeah, I don't think we're even getting a bless. Some salamanders somewhere. Hey, look at those bad boys. These are fun. I doubt they're really going to get involved, but, there's that. We got some fire magic. Root bark skin. Anyways, fun little late early game battle. Couple of events. We've got some barbarians potentially attacking Trottern. We've got decreased tax in Norfangs, and we've got in Monarch Woods, we got some gold and some Dominion because people are happy with us. Fantastic. In Hallwoods, we see Independence attacking Ulm. So we get a bunch of the fishes, the Ichthyeids, coming up. And this isn't great. So this guy is back here doing some basic spells, but there's not enough bodies here, I think, for this to matter. So this is going to be an annoying little misfortune loss for the side of Ulm. So yeah, loses in Hall Woods. We've started to destroy Vaclez. We cured some diseases. And Pythium's gone. That's it. Pythium done. First nation out of the game. GG Pythium. And that matters a lot. Because Vanarus is our neighbor. And we are in a big war. And it would be very, very easy for Vanarus to just be like, no, I think Phaeacia is mine now. So, and I'm not sure we could really do a lot about that. So that is going to be a big, big diplomacy situation for us. So we're going to have to figure that out and see how it goes. We also have a famous commander, new famous commander in Carrion over here, who gained battle prowess. So 16 attack, gets the +2 heroic ability, which is pretty cool, has +3 from experience already. 16's not bad, right? Like, we could put some magic weapons on him and get him doing some stuff, and he could have pretty high attack value. The issue is he's just a death mage, right? This would be better if he was like a earth mage or even a nature mage or something like that. Death 1 isn't going to give us access to a lot of like stealth buffs or anything like that, but still an interesting scenario. Always fun to get heroic abilities, and that is that. We've got a whole bunch of Stirf going on. So let's take this as we have been in theaters of war. We've got the Phaeacian theater, and we've got the Man theater, which is really just our old northern lands theater. And we'll talk about the status of the game as a whole. So first thing off on the whole Phaeacian theater of war situation is that you may see there's no Phaeacian army. That's really good. Phaeacia is in Vaclez. Phaeacia did not pop out anywhere else. And there is no immediate big man army threatening our attack on Vaclez. So that's really good, right? That is what we want. And I think this is by design, right? I think Man and Phaeacia probably talked, and there was probably a fair amount of situation of, hey, I'm not going to come back from this. I'm just assuming, right? Like, I don't know what they actually talked about, or that they did talk, but they have been talking, so I can assume, right? The assumption being that something along the lines of, hey, I'm not going to come back from this. I'm going to fight and try to deal as much damage as I can. And you, in the meantime, Man, go and make Asphodel pay for it, which I'm assuming they are going to try to do. So that is good for us on one hand, and potentially going to be painful for us on the other. So we'll see how that actually goes. What are we doing in Vaclez? Not really anything different, right? We've got all of our orders as we already have. We have some extra gems here. We have, I don't know why we've got this God Blessing. We've got Divine Blessing going out. We've got Puppet Mastery going out. We've got a whole bunch of our Black Centaurs and Minotaurs, blah, 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 blah. And for our kind of like big thing, we have Howl and Group Barkskin going out, right? So hopefully that's going to go well. Oh, we also have a bunch of Gift of Giant Strengths going out. So these are going out on our Black Centaurs in order to bump them from 15 up to 19, which is going to make their lance charge way more threatening, and just their attacks in general quite a bit more threatening. Once they berserk at 19 strength, they'll have 23 strength. So these attacks get pretty threatening at that point, right? So that's pretty cool. Very, very interested in seeing how this goes. Obviously, we have not popped the fort yet. We'll need another turn, at least, to do so. We have siege strength of 500, so it's unlikely that it will take more than one more turn. And it's possible that in that time, man goes, nope, and pops back and threatens us. So we'll just have to see how it goes. We are moving all of our units back onto Vaclez. We've got another Panic Apostate incoming with some potential cat-eyed warriors and stuff like that. Not really a lot going on there. And then we have another force in Pugria coming with a bunch of Jade Maidens and that type of stuff. We have more Jade Maidens and more Centaur Warriors, more Hierophants coming. And we're just kind of reanimating and having a good old time down in Phaeacia. Did we ping this last time? I thought we pinged this last time. No, it was... Yeah, I think we pinged this last time. And I've just forgotten about it in the recording. So, this is gonna hopefully be a thing. But it's... we'll talk about that more over here, right? Because hello, Vanarus. Vanarus, Pythium, real big fucking border, and their other border is basically Pyrene, Nabah, Bandar Log, and Abysia, truth be told. But just a very tiny border with Abysia. So we've got that situation going on. We'll talk more about that here in a second. And then we've got Man. What's going on in Man? So we do have a small sneak and attack over here with some mantises, led by a black dryad. We've gotten not really unlucky, a combination of unlucky and poor decision making with our movements on stealthy troops. Otherwise, we would be in the back line of Man and making him pay, right? Which we have not been doing, unfortunately. But it is what it is. We can see two big stacks here, Lovendalen and Sylvania. And both of these are in threat range for Shadowglade and Asphodel. Now, I don't feel negative about fighting either one of these groups, but trying to fight, right, like, if we don't throw everything that we have into a fight, and Man does, then that could be disastrous for us, right? So, if, for example, all of this went on to Asphodel, if we only tried to fight with some of these stuff in Asphodel, it would get obliterated. If we tried to defend Shadowglade with just some stuff, it would get obliterated, right? So that is out of the question. We have to fight with basically everything, or we don't fight at all. But every turn we fight with everything, and I do mean everything, mages and all, every time we try to catch Man in that kind of situation is a turn we are not researching. And if we're not researching, we're not leveraging the strength that we actually have at this current point, right? So that's a big issue. There's you gotta fight, but at the same time, if you can't get a fight, you're just wasting time. So yay. This is kind of the difference between... I say kind of the difference. This is one of the many differences between good players, new players, or... some new players are actually really good at this. Bad players, I guess, is just the thing to say, right? Like, bad players, good players, and great players, right? Most bad players are just going to fight you out and out over and over again, or not fight you at all, right? Which is also in and of itself like a bad play. Good players have this concept of trying to pick the right fight when and where, and great players have the mindset of the understanding that every action or even lack of action is a cost, right? So when you're playing with high-skill players, you get into these situations where quite frequently they will not give battle to you because whether you try to do anything about it or not, is some sort of cost. So all they're going to do is continue to inflict costs on you over and over again until they can capitalize, right? And that's kind of the situation that we're in. Obviously, we could and probably should be doing the alternative where we just move everything into Asphodel and then move everything onto Sylvania. But like I've said in the past, right, there's so many Knights of Man and monks and things like that with the testing that we've done. If we don't have the right luck and we don't have the right magic, we just get obliterated, right? So it's a tough situation. Now, having said all of that shit, let's talk about what we're actually doing. A bunch of little counter raiding. Got some wolves, got some minotaurs, got some centaurs. This is partially counter raiding, but this is also partially just moving these forces into a location where they can get to Asphodel or Shadowglade, because right now they can't. They can't walk up here to Asphodel because of these two provinces being taken. We're also striking out into Ikten with just some ghouls, no big deal. We're striking out into Kasevik, or however the fuck you say that, Highlands, with some wolves and boars, pretty simple stuff. Into Kepria with some infantry and some minotaurs, and then into Frosted Peaks with some more wolves and boars. So, again, pretty simple stuff. We're not really doing any patrolling. The issue is if we patrol and he moves one of these big stacks, that chaff is dead, and it's not going to do anything, right? Like, maybe we kill some wolves, but it's not going to kill any knights or anything like that. So we're now placed in a dangerous situation where we don't want to make the decision to put all of our eggs in one basket and say, hey, we're going to give battle here because we think you're actually going to fight. No, our call is we don't think you're actually going to fight. We think you're going to just ping us and continue to try to inflict opportunity costs. So we're just going to keep researching and doing other shit until you actually are going to fight. Because we're generating all this chaff, we can continue to just counter raid. And if we can deal with Phaeacia, then we have a second front that we can threaten, and we can try to go from there, right? That's the generalized concept. So what else are we doing in the meantime? Looks like nothing here. We are actually patrolling. Oh, we are actually patrolling over in Shadowglade. That seems like a bad idea. I don't know why we're doing that, but we're doing that with some Black Minotaurs. We're doing some more remote site searching, and we are finally getting a fucking Carrion Lord, because with the last little thing that we did where we were trying to, like, maybe he'll actually stay on Shadowglade, I came to the realization, oh, we're having to use too much time on Dryad Hags doing blessings. Why the fuck don't I have a Carrion Lord? I'm a dum-dum. So we're finally going to get a Carrion Lord, and it'll be turn 30. Because, oh, fuck me. Anyways, we've got that going on. We're getting more Black Minotaurs, more Sages, more Minotaurs, more Lizard Shamans. That's pretty much it. Yeah, I think that's really pretty much it. We'll be done with Construction 5 this turn. We're running up Enchantment afterwards. We should have 5 and 4 here. Pretty in the single turn. And then, you know, we're running for Rigor Mortis. That shouldn't take too many turns, like 3 or 4 turns. If we can get Rigor Mortis, I do actually feel comfortable just going out there. Trying to be like, okay, man, let's fight. The biggest stack that you can provide, the biggest stack I can provide, let's fucking go. Because I don't think he's going to have counters to Rigor Mortis at this point in the game. Even if we get 3-4 turns from now, if we get like 5 or 6 turns from now, that is starting to push it. But I still think we're probably okay, right? So that's the status of these two fronts. Let's talk very briefly about what the fuck is going on in the world, right? The war between Bandar, Abysia, and Agartha continues. Bandar is on the losing end, but they've been doing a great job making both Agartha and Abysia pay for it, right? We know down here in the underground, Abysia has the eastern side, Agartha has the western side, but Abysia also has a shit ton of land up here. They expanded extremely well, and then they've taken some land from Bandar. So Abysia is really threatening, but Bandar is doing a great job against them. It's just probably a losing proposition in the long run, right? There's just more resources for Abysia, and Agartha is in on their side, and that's just overall a losing proposition in the long run for Bandar. So we'll see how this continues for them, but fortunately, it is continuing for them, and that is good for us, right? What's not good for us, potentially, is Vanarus and Pythium's war being done. Though, there is good news in the concept that Pyrene, in their war against Jotunheim, is starting to come to a conclusion as well. So, not in any war right now as far as I'm aware. Naba, not in any war as far as I'm aware. They're so long and noodly. I love it. I love it. Pyrene and Jotunheim's war continues, but I think is going in the favor of Pyrene. And then Vanarus and Pythium's war is done. So this is the big consideration for us. And fortunately, Zan, who is playing Vanarus, and I know each other, and we're pretty amicable. That's not to say that Zan won't kill the shit out of me when given the opportunity, right? But there is at least a amenability to negotiation and being able to, kind of like work together in that type of situation. So it's also a scenario of Zan likes, from my interpretation of them, Zan likes to play in a manner where he wants to do well in the early game, wants to come out strong, wants to conquer a neighbor, right? But doesn't want to just be a greedy savage and be like, oh, well, I killed this person, on immediately to the next person, right? Because he knows that's what leads to coalitions, right? If Vanarus were to go, all right, well, Pythium's dead, Asphodel's in a fucking war that they're having to constantly put resources to. Let's just take Phaeacia. He could do it very easily, probably, without much issue. But as soon as he does something like that, that is a signal flag to say, Vanarus now has 3 caps and very good consolidated territory. If we don't do something about this, they'll destroy the game. They'll win the game, right? That would be an immediate signal flare to Pyrene, to Naba, to Abysia, right? Who at that point would all be able to prosecute a war against Vanarus, who would also already be at a war with me, depending on the situation, right? Because if Vanarus comes in on me, it's likely I just die to the combination of man and Vanarus. But for some length of time, they would also be at war with me, right? So that would be a very greedy play, and I know Zan doesn't tend to like doing something like that. He'll kill me, but he'll kill me later when other people are busier, right? Not to say that Abysia isn't busy or Pyrene isn't busy, but 3 capping is one of those situations where Abysia might be like, okay, peace, Bandar. And Pyrene might be like, okay, well, I'm already pretty much done with Jotunheim. Time to go on Vanarus. And Naba's a free agent. So, that might just be a situation where they're like, okay, let's go. So that whole I say let's go. But I don't actually know what their fucking border is like. I assume they have a border, maybe through Pannonia, maybe through over here, right? But who knows? So with that being said, we are probably going to make peace, or be able to make peace with Vanarus without too much issue. And likely the route in which we do that is right here. First, Nam is way the fuck out there, and not especially valuable. I don't care. Take it, easy peasy. This is something that I would prefer to have, but this is gonna take a concerted effort for us to get rid of. And if things go poorly in Vaclez, we won't even have anything to do it with. And even if they don't go poorly in Vaclez, bringing this army back over here basically just leaves us exposed to man, right? So while I would much rather keep this, this is a great bargaining chip that we can't really take advantage of right now anyways, to be like, hey, Pythium, how about we have a very peaceful, very nice relationship, and you can have these things, and we'll move on with our lives. So that's probably the play. That's not a guarantee, but that's probably the play. We'll see how it goes. Right now, we're kind of in this discussion where it's, hey, whoever gets to it first can have it, right? Kind of tentative situation. But it'll probably turn into a scenario where Vanarus is like, okay, well, I'm going to head over there. And I'll be like, okay, cool. I will not fight you over it if, right? And I think Zan will probably be amenable to that kind of concept. I do wish I could pop into this pawn and try to take it. But I'm a little occupied. So, I think that's it. I think that's kind of like the long and short of things. Our gods are not here yet. It's turn 29. Our gods are not here yet. That is unfortunate. I'm not super happy about that. I wish that they were here already, but we do have a couple of turns. This would be early, right? We do have a couple of turns before it kind of gets to that point where it's like, okay, they definitely should be here by now. But if we got our gods, we would have way more to do with these particular gems. And that would be pretty damn useful. So hopefully we get those in the very near future, and if not, we might have to start trading these away for other particular concepts. So we'll see. Anyways, I think that's it. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye, everybody.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, consider leaving a like, commenting, or subscribing. It really helps me out. If you'd like to see me live, head over to my Twitch at twitch.tv/thedistanthorizon.